So here we are at this incredible time in history, and it looks like everything is going to hell in a handbasket. And the question comes up for us about how we make meaning of it and who we want to be in these times. And one of the tasks in front of us, as I see it, is not succumbing to fear, is learning how to work with our relationship with fear and with anxiety and with helplessness. Because these states can disempower us, and they can lead us into a place where we lose access to our choicefulness, to our vision, and to the things that we really are able to do in the light of all sorts of things happening around us that we can't control. But Stephen Covey's circle of influence versus circle of concern can be a very, very helpful frame for orienting where we place our attention and what we do with our energy. And as a quick reminder, even though I know that most of you are familiar with this, on the inside, you have this little circle, which is the circle of influence, the things that you can actually do something about, the things that you have influence and sort of control over. I think he calls it the circle of control. And I have issue with the word control, so I'm going to say influence. And then outside of the circle of control or influence, you have the largest circle that is everything that you can be concerned about, everything that we have to worry about, everything that we care about. And there's a lot of things that fit into the circle of care that we do not have direct influence over. And to the degree that we live in that circle, the overwhelm gets bigger, the hopelessness gets bigger, the apathy gets bigger, the depression gets bigger, and your circle of influence feels smaller and smaller and smaller. And you end up feeling like a child or a victim of everything that is happening to you. And that has to do with where you're placing your attention. It's not enough to care about things that you can't do anything about. In fact, I would suggest that spending too much energy on everything that I care about that I have no control over is a misuse of the life energy that you have. What we need to do collectively is for each one of us to put our attention on our circles of control or the circles of influence, and to then begin asking, what is it that I need to be doing in this circle of the things that I can influence and that I do have control over, and to keep bringing our attention back to the things that we can do something about. Okay, now that becomes difficult to do when we feel overwhelmed by all of the vast things out there that we see as the problems in the world. But if you've got 1 million people wringing their hands about how terrible it is, the sky is falling and isn't it terrible, and looking at all of the things that they can't do anything about, hoping that somebody else will do it, or you get 1 million people who care about all of that. It's not like we go into denial. It's not like we pretend it isn't there, but who are actively working in their jobs and the decisions that they have and the relationships that they are cultivating to begin building the kinds of interdependent relationships that begin to bring a life force into the collective that begins to move towards life-serving change. It's just a much better way of spending energy as far as I see it. So the first thing I want to encourage you to do is keep your attention on the circle of influence. And your circle of influence begins with yourself.